Hey guys, welcome back to the Better Project. This episode, we've got Jordan Kahu. How are you, brother?
Good, thanks. Thanks for having me, brother.
Good to finally get you on after a few weeks of trying to organise it.
Yeah, bro. This is mostly the only time that I'm free, and I'm usually editing or playing PlayStation. So sorry it's taking so long, bro.
All good, bro. Seeing you had a recent drop, man, that seemed to go pretty well.
Yeah, bro. I just thought because I wasn't able to get out and start filming and stuff, I still kind of wanted to grow Chur media. And I thought the easiest way to do it is through clothing. I can stay at home. I can pretty much organize everything. I don't have to go out to do much. And so I was just like, yeah, I'll launch some clothes a bit more new stock this time, with the t-shirt that you're wearing. And yeah, they just seem to fly off the shelves, bro. I was pretty shocked by it all.
Yeah, that's awesome to see. Before we get into Chur Media, though, take me back to young Jordan Kahu. What was it like growing up? Is it Lower Hutt in New Zealand?
Yeah. So growing up in Lower Hutt, I had a good family. My parents looked after me very well. I never went without, and whenever I wanted to play a new sport, they let me straight away. And yeah, I had an older brother that I kind of idolized pretty much my whole childhood. And yeah, just a sporty kid, and just try to play as much sport as I could.
You grew up playing rugby union, was it?
Yeah. So I played rugby union up until I was about 16, until I moved over here.
What made you want to transition over to rugby league?
I was just, I guess I was just a bit frustrated. I wasn't playing much footy. Obviously in union, if you sit on the bench, I was a young guy in the first 15, and I wasn't getting much game time. And I just kind of wanted to go and play footy. And there's no age grade or club footy while you're at school in New Zealand. So the only alternative I had was to go and play league. And yeah, I just loved it. And one thing just led to another.
How'd you find the transition to league?
Bro, I remember this first trial type opposed game that I had done at the West Tigers. Bro, I was getting ragged all day. I was so small. Obviously, there's not as much space in league as there is in union, and I was just finding myself getting thrown around, and but loved it. Loved it. Obviously, had to learn the rules, and a little bit different. And yeah, just never look back. I guess I still obviously want to go back and play union sometime, just because I grew up playing it, and I do still love it. But yeah.
How did the move to Australia come about?
So I played in like a school league comp, and there was a couple of scouts there, and I think we ended up winning the comp. And the coach of that team was Johnny Lomax. He's an ex-NRL player. He had connections with Tim Sheens at the West Tigers, and he kind of reached out to Tim Sheens and said that he's got this young player here who's pretty keen to move over and have a crack at league. And then, I got a scholarship with the West Tigers, and they put me in a school, Kibra Park on the Gold Coast. And then, once I was finished at Kibra, I kind of just didn't really want to move to Sydney yet. I wanted to stay in Queensland, and moved to the Broncos, and was there for 10 years.
Kibra is one of the top rugby league schools up Queensland, eh?
Yeah. Real big league school. Had some big names go through there, and some big names have just come out of there, like the young boys, Payne Haas and Dave Fafita and that. And, so still producing some high quality players.
Who moved over with you?
So I was meant to move over by myself at first, and I was going to go into one of those homestay type scenarios. There was a few boys that were in those, but just before I left, my parents split, and my dad just said, I'll come with you, and then my brother said, I'm not staying here, so he ended up coming as well. So we ended up all three of us moving over together, which was good for us three, but yeah, poor mum got left in Wellington by herself.
Yeah, she would have been filthy.
Yeah, I think she still finds it tough that we're over here now. So yeah, she wasn't too happy with it.
So how did the gig with the Broncos come out? You just killing it at Keebra and got picked up?
Yeah, so yeah, how it normally works is obviously the West Tigers have you under a scholarship at a school. Then when you finish school, you go down to West Tigers into the 20 system, and then hopefully to the NRL. But yeah, we were just going real well at school footy. We ended up winning the Arrive Live back then, and I just wasn't ready to move out on my own. I was 18. My fiance Jess, we're just young, and I was a bit nervous about moving to such a big city in Sydney. And I'd seen obviously the people that had gone through and make it, but I've seen the people that had gone down there and not made it. And that scared me. So yeah, I decided to stay off the Bronx, and it was a tough decision, obviously, because West Tigers did put me in that Kibra Park, and that was a tough decision to make. But yeah, looking back now, I probably would have made the same one.
What was it like telling fucking Tim Sheens, was he filthy?
Oh, bro, I mean, I'll never forget this. So I had to ring him myself.
Yeah.
My manager at the time said, "Here, ring him," and I said, "Nah, I better do it myself." I just wanted the words to come out of my mouth, and we won the national school comp, and the West Tigers were playing after us. And I remember, happy as Larry, just won the comp, walked in the sheds, and Tim Sheens was waiting there, and I was so nervous. I was obviously the last time I spoke to him was when I told him that I wasn't going down. And yeah, I just spoke to him there. He was actually pretty good about it. Congratulated me and thanked me for ringing him myself and telling him myself. And yeah, he wasn't too mad at me about it, but a few people were.
Yeah, they would be.
Yeah.
So you made your debut the year after you left school, or?
Nah, so I played 1 year in under 20s, 2010, and then I done my knee in back-to-back years, so I didn't end up debuting until 2013.
Shit, how old were you then?
Yeah. I would have been 22. Yeah, 22.
What was it like? Was it ACL that you did?
Yeah. So the first time I done it, I was kind of oblivious to what kind of went into it. I remember getting told for the first time, and yeah, I was just I asked the doctor, what, so I'll be out for a couple of weeks, and he said, "Oh no, you'll be out for the whole season." And I was just like, I was just mind blown. I didn't, obviously being young and immature, you kind of don't really face injuries until you're a bit older. And well, I didn't face any injuries when I was younger, and yeah, like my first kind of big injury was a massive one, and yeah, I didn't cope with it too well at the time.
Yeah. So after those two knee injuries, what was it like finally making your debut, especially for one of the biggest, franchises in Australia?
Yeah, it was awesome. It was obviously I was gutted for the fact that Hodjo had torn his hammy, because that's how I got in there.
Yeah.
And yeah, I kind of wanted to crack it on my own accord and not on an injury. But I remember when he walked in the sheds and he was holding his hammy, I was kind of thinking in my head, like, this could be my time. And I didn't actually get told until later that afternoon. Anthony Griffin rang me when I was at home and said that Hodjo was definitely out and that I'll be playing, and for me not to tell anyone other than my mum and dad. So it was pretty hard, obviously. I was young. I just wanted to tell the whole world that I was playing my first game. But obviously to protect me, we were playing against the Melbourne Storm. So to protect me and all that type of business, I wasn't allowed to tell anyone. I had to keep it under wraps and only tell the family.
Yeah. Awesome achievement though. Your family would have been so proud of you.
Yeah. It was just an awesome moment. I think a lot of the boys would agree that when you debut or you have a big milestone game, it's not only your achievement, but everyone else's that has helped you get to that position. So it was obviously cool to kind of pay people back, and especially my family, my mum and dad, for the sacrifices they made to get me there.
Yeah. So take me back to the year you guys made the grand final. Bit of a roller coaster, making the grand final. You guys lost it, and then you got picked for the Kiwis.
Yeah, bro. It was one of the best and worst years of my life, I guess. Probably, obviously, the grand final was just, obviously devastating. Just the way we lost after the year we'd had, and obviously that was devastating. I'd had my first kid, like I think it was 2 weeks before the grand final. So I was a bit in the twilight zone for a couple of weeks there. We're making grand final. I just had my first kid. Everything was going so well, and then obviously lost the grand final. And then Steve Kearney was our assistant coach after the grand final. He walked into the sheds and said to me that better keep training because I might be playing again. And I didn't know how to kind of take it. I knew he was hinting at the Kiwis, but I didn't realise that I was going to eventually get picked. So it was a bit of a weird feeling. I was so devastated with the grand final, obviously, just lost. Just finished wiping my tears, and then for one to come and say that did pick my morale up a bit, and it was pretty cool.
I guess it doesn't give you much time to kind of be upset about the loss because you're on that high now for being picked to represent your country.
Yeah, like for me, I guess I think it's because I grew up in a rugby union background. The international stage is the pinnacle. Like obviously playing for All Blacks is the pinnacle. So I think for me, playing for the Kiwis was my pinnacle. Obviously, winning the grand final would have been nice, but just being able to represent your country and on a world stage and sing the anthem and do the haka, it was so special.
So what was it like actually being in Kiwi camp? Is there much difference to international from, club training and all that?
Obviously, there's a bit of a different personality. Obviously, Kiwi boys are a bit different. Still the same banter. It was just good, bro. It just felt like every Kiwi camp I've been in, I kind of just felt like I was back in New Zealand, with my mates that I grew up with. Just so comfortable in Kiwi camp.
So talk to me about the move to the Cowboys. How'd that come about?
So obviously when Steve came to the club, he kind of had the team in his eyes, and I remember a conversation I had with him. I asked him if I'd be playing, if I'd be starting in the squad, and he was just blunt and honest with me, and he said that he had other players ahead of me, and I'd only be playing if there was injury, and obviously as devastating as news as that was, I just said to him, I'll just keep working my butt off until I can prove to you that I can play. And then a couple of weeks later, I kind of had the same conversation with him, and he said to me, you're too good to be playing Q Cup. If any opportunities pop up for you, then take them. And then the Cowboys opportunity popped up while I was in the Māori camp, and it was a bit hard to kind of deal with at the time because I was in Māori camp and I was trying to focus on that game. And I didn't want to make any decisions while I was at camp and away from my family. I wanted to make the decision together. And after the Māori game, I was just kind of like, sweet, let's do it. I've got an opportunity to start fullback, a position that I've always wanted to play. And I think 2 days after the Māori game, I was on a plane to Townsville. It was crazy. It happened so quick.
How was the experience playing for the Cowboys?
Bro, it was real good. The club's full with a lot of good people. They've got a really good vibe up there, I think. Obviously, being away from this and the madness, there's not much bullshit, to be honest, up there. Everyone just tells you how it is. And obviously, you got to be the boys are a tight-knit group just because, they have to be up there. But yeah, I love my time. I love the people I met. The club looked after me really well, me and my family, and yeah, we do miss it. But yeah, things happened, and I ended up back in Brizzy.
Was Thurston playing the year that you went, or did he retire the year before?
Yeah, he retired the year before.
No, spewing. That would have been mad to play with him.
Yeah, I've only ever played against him, so it would have been pretty cool to lace up alongside him.
How was it versus the Broncos? Would have been a weird feeling, eh?
Oh, bro, it was so weird. I remember leading into the game, I just didn't know what to think. I just wanted to play good, prove to them that what they're missing, and we ended up getting pumped, which wasn't too good, but it was a real weird feeling. Like, obviously, I've got a lot of close mates at the Bronx, and to come back and play against a lot of the boys that I've played with for so long was pretty weird. But on the field, I was just like, said to myself, like, none of these dudes are my mates tonight. I'm just gonna go hard out, and I wouldn't expect anything less from them. And had a good laugh and chat after the game. But yeah, it was so weird. I think the weirdest thing was running out to Suncorp being on the other team. You know what I mean? Like, I'm so used to running out and being, cheered on by that fan base and that crowd. That was probably the weirdest.
The local derbies, though, they go off. You get a decent crowd, mad atmosphere.
Yeah. They're always good games to be a part of.
So how did the door open for you to come back to the Bronx?
So when I left the Bronx first, I actually had an option in my favour for this year. And so I signed the year. It was pretty much like a loan deal pretty much for the year that went to the Cowboys. And it was up to me whether I wanted to come back or not. And I took up my option for this year to come back. That's tough.
So talk to me about injuries. You've had your fair share with your knees and then your jaw, and was it your eye socket as well?
Yeah. I think I'm up to 12 like major surgeries now. It's bloody ridiculous, yeah. But bro, like, I've just got to look at it on a positive side. The character I've built from all of those surgeries is crazy, and I'm definitely a different person because of those, and a lot better, stronger person if I didn't have all of those setbacks. And the good thing to take away from it is that I'm really good at helping people get through, their setbacks and their injuries. And I'm always trying to reach out to boys when they get hurt, whether it's boys at my club or boys at other clubs. I'm trying to reach out and let them know that they'll all get through it, and if they need a chat, then I'm always here.
Did you ever have thoughts of retiring?
Nah, I haven't thought about it at all, like once. I think because I had my long-term injuries at the beginning, ACLs, I had those at the beginning, and everything else has kind of been shorter-term or mid-term injuries. I haven't been out for a whole season or anything, and that's kind of probably the main reason why I haven't ever thought about it. I feel like I've got a lot more to give. I still love playing footy. It's like I still get that little tickle, that little spark about playing, and until that's gone, then I'll continue playing.
When can you come back and play?
I'm about 3 weeks off. So everything else was good. I came back out of the lockdown period in pretty good shape. I was training a fair bit, and then like a week before resumption, I tore my hammy. So I'm kind of just coming back from that, and hopefully be right soon so I can get back in there.
Bro, hamstrings are a shit injury, man. I did it 2 years ago. Bro, it's so bad.
So I had like a heap of hamstring problems after my knees because they obviously take the hamstring graft out of. And like I hadn't had hamstring problems in ages until like just recently. It was it's frustrating, but it's not like I said before, long term.
Have you had groin injuries? I'd say they're the worst.
Yeah, bro. I had a groin adductor release surgery because I had like mad osteitis pubis, and
I had that.
I was just struggling to kick goals in there. Like every goal kick, it felt like someone was stabbing a knife into my pelvis, and it was just excruciating. Yeah, bro, they're not that good.
I remember some mornings you just couldn't get out of bed. Is that
Bro,
bad?
just like lifting your head up, and like the tiniest crunch would hurt it so bad.
I had to get cortisone injections, 2 of them, just to try and get it right.
No, did it help?
Yeah, a bit, but fuck, it's the weirdest feeling getting a needle down there, eh?
Oh, bro, I haven't. Yeah, I think I've had one in my hip, but I wouldn't want one in my pelvis or anything.
Nah. So what's one piece of advice you'd give a young kid, wanting to pursue NRL?
Just do more than everyone else. One thing I like pride myself on when I was a kid, I'd go to footy trainings, and then on my days off I'd train again. Just not being happy with the work you're being told to do more. And I was lucky to have 2 parents that drove me because they seen my potential. And I'll never forget, my mum would wake me up before school and take me down to the park to train before school. But it's just the one piece of advice is just do more than anyone else and just stay at it. Like you gotta stay at it. It's not a weekly thing, a monthly thing. It's a yearly thing. It's a 5-yearly thing if you want to really make it.
So talk to me about Chur Media. How'd that all come about?
So I just got into photography and making videos, probably more so making videos. First, I was just, doing the holiday videos and that type of job with the GoPros and stuff. And then, bought a camera, started vlogging, started enjoying it. And I was watching a bunch of YouTube videos on videoing and stuff, and then ended up buying a more expensive camera. Then kind of stepped my game up in photos and videos, and kind of just kept growing and learning. And then bought an even more expensive camera, and like all the gear just started piling up and started getting more expensive. And I was like, man, I love it. So I might as well start something from it and put all this expensive gear to good use. And that's pretty much how it come about.
Yeah, bro, the gear's so expensive.
Bro, ridiculous.
I have a whole list of items I want. I'm like, wow, I'm really going to drop this much money on it?
Honestly, it's just never ending. It's just little stuff that, especially when you watch like YouTube tutorials and stuff, and they've got something, and it's just there.
Yeah,
it keeps adding on.
So, what's the mission and goal for Chur Media?
So I'm real keen to get it to a point where I'm filming sports type hype docos that like a lot of the States players people do for like the NFL, NBA players, those behind the scenes type.
Yeah, the ESPN ones.
Yeah, bro. And just doing that type of stuff on the side. Obviously, get brands involved to fund it. And just start building that type of industry first.
The clothing side of it, is just a bit of fun, or are you looking to grow that?
Nah, it's just like I said earlier, I couldn't get out to film much. And the first time I released some Chur merch, it went pretty good. So I was like, I might as well do it again. I like, enjoy clothes and street kind of style stuff. So I was like, yeah, I might as well release some stuff. But yeah, I'll see. I'm not too sure. I'll see where it goes. It's a bloody tough thing to kind of knuckle down. There's so much behind the scenes work that you got to do, and I guess it's just up to me if I'm willing to do that stuff.
It's great seeing athletes, use their leverage to create their personal brands.
Yeah, 100%. I've like no one kind of has done it in the last 5 years, and you see more of the younger boys jumping on it and doing it now. Like Dylan Brown, Kalen Ponga, Tech Boy. Those types of boys that aren't shy to show their creative talents, and it's cool to see. I'm always keen to jump on and support those type of boys. And I guess when I first came into first grade, posting an Instagram pic was, you'd cop it at training. But now it's, kind of the norm. And obviously what you can build off the back of social media these days, especially for players alongside their footy career, there's endless opportunities there. So it's good that boys are kind of doing that thing, and it's more okay now.
It's great because, footy doesn't last forever. So you need to, while you have that leverage, you need to use it to grow businesses or whatever for life after.
100%, bro. And if you try 100 things while you're playing footy and you don't like it, and at least you've had a crack and you've learned from the experience. So, I'd encourage any young player or any player to just have a go at doing anything on the side.
Have you copped, I guess, a lot of hate for it because, it's taking your time away from footy? Like people expect you to just solely focus on footy.
Oh, bro, I guess like after a bad game or after a bad mistake, there's always those people that will be like, maybe if you, focus more on footy than you did on your camera stuff, that's just the go-to.
Yeah.
Fans just expect us to be 100% footy, and it blows my mind that they can think that, but it doesn't faze me anymore. I know I'm doing something for my family and myself, and whatever anyone else says doesn't really bother me too much.
Do you think Isaac John kind of paved the way, especially in rugby league, for players to build their own brands and that?
Yeah, I guess so. He didn't really kind of do it when he was playing though, so it was a bit different. That was his last. Well, he had a lot of time on his hands to do it. Whereas I'm kind of doing it as I'm playing, so it's a bit different. Obviously, when he would have been playing, it would have been in the era when it was wrong to do anything outside of footy. So he has been encouraging for players to show that they can do something outside of footy and after footy.
I think it can actually grow the game as well. Like people get behind personalities and they'll want to watch the game and support it.
100%. You see what like Kempy does with Bloke in the Bar, all those those characters that he's built players to be. They've just kind of rolled with that, and then the big media corporations are picking up on it, and boys are able to obviously leverage off their brand again from stuff like that. So it's cool to see.
Yeah, it's awesome seeing you as an actual person, not just a footy player.
Like I said before, people just expect us to be 100% footy.
Yeah,
I get that because we do get paid well to play footy, but in the grand scheme of things, that doesn't last forever, and very few players will be able to set themselves up financially just from the salaries that they receive from footy.
Yeah, exactly. So outside footy and Chur media, what do you like to do?
Bro, just chill with the family. Obviously, it's been good lately because that's all I've been doing. We haven't been able to get out and do much, which is probably the most frustrating thing. But bro, just be just spending quality time with my family and watching my kids grow. As much as I hate seeing them grow because I want them to stay young and little forever, but it's just there's just no other feeling like it. Just being able to chill with your family that you've created and watch them grow into the little personalities and people that they're destined to be.
What's it like being a father? I got to say, you made some cute kids.
Oh, thanks, bro. It's all thanks to my missus. But bro, like, I lacked kind of, like I always just felt like I was missing something before I had kids. It was the weirdest feeling. Like I have accomplishments, but there was just this little thing that was off, and until I had kids, it kind of made me realize that this is why everything had happened, before, like pushing through my ACL injuries and not giving up. Like when I had kids, it was kind of like, oh, this is why. It's just there's always honestly no other feeling like it, and it's changed me as a person. And it's changed the way I react to things. Like after the 15 GF, if I didn't have my daughter, who knows what kind of behavior I would have gotten up to. But having her to come home to, and bro, they just don't care about footy, bro. Like they obviously love coming and watch you, but bro, win or lose, they do not care. Eh? All they care about is if they're getting fed and you're giving them attention, and it's a good balance away from footy.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what does life look like for you after you retire?
Bro, hopefully just build Chur Media. Obviously want to build that to a point where I'm, getting paid from it. And I want it to get to a point where I don't have to be locked down in one location, being able to travel. And just being able to be. I spoke to my missus about it the other day, and I just said, I just want to grow up to a point where, I'm not working, like 9 to 5. I can choose when I want to work, so I can spend as much time with my kids and, go to their sporting games and trainings and all that type of stuff, and just being able to have the luxury to do that.
I guess it would be hard being a footy player, like not having that freedom to, just travel when you want or do whatever you want.
Yeah, it's a bit tough. Obviously, we do get to travel a lot of places for free, but we do miss a lot. We miss a lot of weddings. We miss a fair bit of family stuff, especially the boys that are living in a different country from where their families are. So we do miss a lot, which is tough, and having a short window at the end of the year to travel, and that's our only time that we can, is tough. But I guess it's something you got to take with the job.
Yeah, some sacrifices you got to make for the bigger purpose, I guess.
Yeah, hard up.
Well, thank you for coming on, man. I hope to see you back on the field sometime soon.
I hope so, man. I'm dying to get back out there, dying. So hopefully the leg's all good soon and I can get back out there and give the boys a hand.
Sweet, bro. And I can't wait to see where Chur Media goes and how you grow it.
Sure. Let's go.
Sure, bro. Well, thanks for giving me your time, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
Cheers, bro.